right. Hi, everyone. My name is Lisa Brerley. This is episode 23. I'm here with my amazing husband, Scott Brerley, and we're excited to unpack love, life, and everything in between with our amazing guest today. We have Shalina Bell. We're excited to have her, and let me tell you a little bit about her, and then we'll get into our conversation. She is a mindset mentor, an author as well, and the soulful creator behind the Daily Ritual Co., a space where daily habits, which she established herself and now shares with the world, has turned into kind of her sacred moments, that's for sure. Her work is all about helping others return to their true essence through intentional living, self-love, and being present. Whether she's writing, coaching, crafting, many digital tools, and we'll get into those things, they're all for her transformation and to support others in their transformation. Shalina does guide others in creating meaningful rituals, which we'll get into today, that align with her heart's truth. Welcome, Shalina. We're excited to get to know you. Tell us a little bit more about yourself that maybe we
Hey
haven't heard
guys,
yet.
thank you so much for having me, guys. Um, I can honestly say since I was a little girl, I have always felt a need to want to help. And it wasn't until I got older that I realized I can actually do different things that can actually fulfill that need or feeling of wanting to help people. And it's just something that has always stuck with me, and me always thinking of what's another way I can help someone. And I honestly feel like that is my sole purpose, is to make others feel seen and for people to, feel that someone else can resonate with their story or their journey. And if that makes another person feel seen, which I believe we all truly want to feel, then I think I'm serving my purpose. So I am always thinking, my wheels are always spinning. I am a creator. I love to make things look good. So my products and my books, it takes time when I create every single one because I'm so detail oriented, and I want it to be something that when people see it, they're like intrigued. I want to know what this is or what is it about. It's not just another person making things and putting things out, because I genuinely want to heal as many people as I can. I'm still healing myself. I'm not perfect. So I don't
Yeah.
want to put that out there, but I'm definitely still evolving, and I think that's the purpose, is for us to continue to evolve and to become the best versions of ourselves. And if my gifts of wanting to be helpful and guide people, then I think the world would be a better place if we had more people that were healed and had positive mindsets.
Yeah, let's create that wave, right?
So you
Right.
met,
Yeah.
so you mentioned books. Are you an author?
I actually am. I published my memoir self-help book. It's called Don't Worry Inner Child. We Got This. And I published it in November. And it's a memoir about my childhood, how I evolved into the woman that I am today, and a lot of what was my inspiration, who was my inspiration, how I got into meditation, spirituality, tapping techniques, just things that grounded me and helped me become, I guess, the peaceful serenity person that I am. And anyone that meets me, they're like, you're always smiling, you're always so calm, and you always have such good energy. And I said, I must be a really good like masker at it, because I'm not, like I said, I'm not perfect. I have my days where I go through things where I'm overwhelmed or exhausted, but I guess you could say I have mastered not letting anyone else see that while I'm dealing with it. And I'm such a private person, so for me to put out a memoir was such a huge, huge step for me, because I said to myself, you realize you're going to publish things that no one knows about. And I said, you know what? I feel like my calling is so much bigger than me worrying about people thinking or what they're going to see or say when they know things about me. So I published it, and the feedback has been anything beyond amazing that I've received. I've had women tell me, your book is my Bible right now, because I went through this with my husband and he almost died. And I read your book and I say, you know what? If she can go through things, then I can go through this and I'll be okay. And that really touched me. And I get asked, how many books did you sell? I said, I honestly never check. I really do not check, because my purpose wasn't so much of how much money can I make off of this book. It's is this another tool that I can use to help more people?
Exactly. And like it sounds like the mentor like we had for when we published
Yeah.
our book, it's about who you transform into and who you become at the end of writing your book.
Yeah, it's so true. And
Yeah.
even writing it, it took me years to make it and finish it. There was moments that I was crying while writing it, even though I thought I was healed from certain things and I was, reliving some of those incidences or experiences and I would get emotional and I'm like, wow, like I just pictured this little girl and the inner child in me and going through the things I talk about. And as an adult now, I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah, we totally connect with you because our both our books are like, here are us in black and white
Right.
on the page.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I touch base a lot about healing the inner child because what a lot of people don't know is a lot of who we are as adults stems a lot from either what we healed or not healed from our childhood.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a lot of us either were never given the tools on how to do the work to heal those things,
Yeah.
or we were given but didn't have the instructions on what to do with that. So I talk a lot about what doing the work is and what it may look like and manifest as an adult when you suffer with abandonment issues or, just different issues that you experience as growing up and how it reflects the decisions you make and the relationships and the friendships we have as adults. So a lot of my book is based on, ask the right questions and deal with a lot of those hard things that we probably didn't face or don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. And that probably segues great into this next question that I'm dying to hear more about this daily ritual how did that all get started? What is it all about?
Oh, that's my baby. So actually, it started out during COVID,
Mm,
which I said I wanted to lose this weight. I wasn't comfortable with myself. I had two children and the weight wasn't coming off. And I noticed I wasn't really taking a lot of pictures of myself. And the guy I dated at the time said we should start exercising together. So I said, you know what, this is a great plan. Maybe if I'm with someone together, we'll do it. So I started, he didn't. And I said, in order to hold myself accountable and be more consistent, I'm going to start sharing my workouts on my Instagram stories. So I would share my rituals, which really was me getting up at 6:30 in the morning, doing a meditation, doing some affirmations, and then like a 30-minute exercise. And then I continuously started to do that, and it became, I say within 30 days, it's not a habit anymore. It just becomes a way of life. So 30 days into doing it, I noticed strangers and people that I wasn't even friends with on Instagram were messaging me, thanking me for something I posted because I was also sharing inspirational, motivational quotes. And I had strangers messaging me, thanking me for things I posted, saying it helped them either through surgery or their breakups or to keep going. And we don't know each other, but thank you. And I felt like that was another like drop in the bucket of you're feeding what this purpose is of yours that you're feeling and always have felt to help. And that's what kept me going. And I still do my daily rituals. I don't work out every day, but when I do, I share it. But I do post every single morning daily rituals on my Instagram stories, which is always something inspirational, motivational. May not have nothing to do with me, but it could be something I found that I thought maybe somebody could use.
mhm.
And I said, you know what? I really feel like I could brand myself because I've been doing this for so many years. I'm always thinking bigger. What can I do bigger to reach more and more of an audience? And I created my company, My Daily Rituals Co. So what that is, it's on Etsy shop.
Mhm.
And I have digital products I've created, journals for men, journals for women and moms that are overwhelmed or exhausted and just need some type of grounding. I've created card decks that are gratitude cards that you can download or use as a screensaver or print them out as cards just as reminders you can keep. And I have at least seven already within like 2 weeks that I've created things. It's like something in me just keeps, what else can I make? What else can I make? How else can I help? How else can I help?
Yeah.
And someone said something to me. She says, there's more people that need help and less people that are willing to help them.
Mm.
And I said that really stuck with me because I'm one of those few that want to help. And it's like I don't give up until I don't know what the that limit's gonna be, but I just feel like I need to keep going and trying to help and however I can.
Yeah.
Well, and it's actually quite crazy because there's a statistic out, and I don't know how true it is, but it's like only 10% of the people in the world actually reach out for help.
Wow.
Mm.
And that's pretty scary when you think of how messed up our world is. It's like if
Yeah,
we
that is.
and it but it's neat. The more I'm getting into the like spending years into this, the more I'm seeing there's more and more and more. So I'm hoping that number changes.
I didn't know that, and that just kind of gives me more fuel.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And like you said, when you choose to show up as kind of your amazing self and share that with the world, whether it's a book or journals or whatever, or posting on your Instagram, that's you'll find people and people will find you, right? That's what
Right,
people are looking for is that sharing of who you are. And
right,
that's what they're attracted to, right? Some people get
right.
scared of that. But
Yeah,
you'll
I
attract the
know.
right people, right?
Yeah, I feel like they say your tribe will find you. You'll find your tribe. And it's funny
Exactly.
because I have people that watch every single morning because I can see who's watching.
Yeah.
And I have the same people that look forward. They look for me to post something inspirational for them every day.
Well,
So
you
that lets me
inspired
know.
me.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. I
That's so
love that. Thank
awesome.
you.
Of all those journals and sort of digital tool things that you create and you make and you publish, which one have you experienced as has had the biggest impact?
Let's see. My Rest to Rise one for moms.
Oh.
That one. Yeah. It's between that one and I actually have a gratitude journal for men. Those two have both been, you'd be surprised. I actually had more of a feedback from the men's journal than the women's.
Oh.
Yeah.
It is surprising because I was just thinking, and it's like women seem to have an easier time in this avenue than men do
Right.
to get things going. And then you say that, it's almost like,
Good.
yeah.
Right? I know. And I actually 2 years ago, I created the gratitude journal for men first, and I published it on Amazon.
Hmm.
And then I waited a little bit and then I made the women's one, and the men's one took off versus the women's. People were either buying it for gifts for men in their lives, or there were actually men that were getting it for themselves because it's like three prompts every day to ask yourself, what's something you're doing, at least some things you're grateful for, what's something you did for yourself today. It's just ways because I strongly believe in the attitude of gratitude.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And in between each one of those promptal pages, there's inspirational quotes that I put that I actually take from over the years. I have so many saved in my daily rituals. And I said to myself, why don't I use some of these daily ritual quotes and create something? And
Hmm.
that's how I actually created the journal for men.
Yeah, perfect. Like that's amazing. And I think when because you're filling your own bucket, right? Creating and doing all this, and that's your passion. And when
Right.
you fill your own bucket, then it overflows to help other people, right?
Right? Yeah. I
Yeah.
truly believe that.
What is like you say you post every day. So what is really something an easier or a great way for people who are unsure how to start? Where can they start?
Now, starting in the sense of like how to ground themselves, how to be mindful,
Rituals,
or
daily rituals
rituals.
for them.
So
Yeah,
you know what's funny? I used to never wake up at 6:30 in the morning. I would set my alarm to do that. And then it got to the point where my body was waking up before my alarm clock.
you have that.
So and like I had stated, I honestly feel if you're doing something consistently, it starts to become a way of life. It's not a habit anymore.
Yeah.
So if you want to be the change you want to see in your life, I think you have to actually do something different that you've never done.
Mm.
And it's all about what your intentions are and how bad do you want to change. some people don't really want it that bad and they're just okay with being comfortable. You have to be okay with being uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
I was just
Right.
talking to somebody this morning about because food, Lisa and I had done this food intolerance test, and I got, I think, 60 foods that I'm not allowed to eat, or 50 foods that I'm not supposed to eat, like
Wow.
mango, lettuce, like crazy stuff. So now I've had to learn how to eat quinoa and stuff that is really
Right.
appealing. But after doing it a few months and learning how to create differently,
Yeah,
it actually tastes good. And my palate's is
change.
changing. It's
Really?
like, yeah, being a diabetic, I had to cut sweets out. And now if I have a sweet, something that I would have ate the whole chocolate bar before, I'll take
Yeah.
one bite and it's like, whoa, it's way too sweet. Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't agree. Yeah. It's like overpowering now because
yeah.
you change the taste buds.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
it's time and consistency is all it is, like
Yeah.
consistent and
Well, and remembering as well that you are worth making those
yeah.
decisions, right?
And
Whatever.
that's another thing that I kind of emphasize a lot on is self-love and to love on yourself more. And after, like, I want to say those 30 days of doing my daily rituals and I became consistent and I started to lose the weight, I started to take pictures of myself again and sharing pictures of myself. Of course, I had pictures of my children, but I realized I never took pictures of myself because I wasn't comfortable with my own body and how I looked and how I felt. And everything starts within now, and it's all mental. And I noticed women started that were following me started posting pictures of themselves. And
Yeah.
I said, wow, it's not so much that you can say, oh, they're copying what I'm doing. No, they're getting the message. Love on yourself more. Take those pictures. I
Exactly.
think it's so important. And I think it's such being just in general, life is hard as it is already, but you only got one you. So,
Yep. And I think one of the tools that I've taken away from some personal development that we did was to treat every day like it's either your beginning day, your first day, or your last day. So you choose how you want to look at it, but
right.
live the most best
Live
life.
your life. And it's funny because on my wrist, I don't know if you can really see it, but I have a tattoo that says YOLO. You only live once.
You only live once.
And because my mom passed when I was 24, and before she passed, months before, we talked about going on a cruise together. We never did that before.
Mm,
And after she passed, I got that tattoo, and I said, because for me, that's going to be whenever I'm contemplating doing something I want to do,
mm.
think about her and how we didn't get to do the things we wanted to do together. So you only live once means you should do that thing you want to do because you only get one chance at it.
Yeah.
I like that. We live like that.
I
Hmm.
love that. I love that.
Yeah, we're doing crazy things and you as well, right?
You have
I was
to. I
talking
feel
to
like
a
I think life's all about experiences, creating great experiences. And my children will attest to that. They'll tell you, like, I've sat in line for 12 hours in the mall for my daughter at 2 o'clock in the morning. She woke me up and said, we have to go. There's this guy there, Mr. Beast. He's has a restaurant. He gives out money. He's really good. He gives places things to countries that need money or need food. And I said, I don't know who this man is. And she's showing me videos. And we went to she's like, Mom, but you always are lucky. We'll get in. She's like, you always say it's about creating great experiences and memories, right? And I was like, you're right. We left 12 hours online with her in that mall. But we met him. We took a picture with him. We ate at his restaurant. We met other famous YouTubers and TikTokers. And it was an amazing, memorable experience. So I'm with you guys. I think I love creating beautiful and great experiences, not just for me, but for my kids too. So I'm with you on that.
Well, I've already put it out in the universe. I want to do a podcast with David Goggins. And I know it sounds crazy, but I know it's going to happen.
I love that.
He
I
is,
love that.
yeah, he's one of those men that have inspired me hugely. And I know he's inspired a lot of people in the world. And I would love to, one day it'll happen.
Yeah, speak it. I would love to see it.
yeah, yeah,
And I'll be like, remember, Scott, we talked about this? Remember that day when we said?
Yeah.
exactly. I was just thinking something a few minutes ago and lost it escaped. It'll come back. Um, how do you yourself, Shalina, stay inspired to kind of keep going and keep creating and that sort of thing in your life.
It's like there's like an inner, like a small little fire inside of me. If I could try to put this into words, but there's just something either in me that just does not let me quit. And I don't know where this mindset evolved from, where it came from, because I've only known to be this way my whole life. I've been through a lot and I've experienced a lot as all of us. We're all on a journey. And I always say the only difference between all of us is our journey is different. Otherwise, we're all the same. But I've never felt like giving up on anything. I don't give up when someone says, "Hey, I can't untangle these cords. Can you do it?" Oh, sure, I would love to do that. I love a challenge. And I will be the one to untangle Christmas tree lights. I'm the one that will stay in line for 12 hours because of my patience. I do not give up, and it shows in like every aspect of everything that I do, but it's been instilled in me since I was a little kid. So I never had that mentality of I can't do anything. I feel like there's nothing I can't do.
Yeah. And I think each of us who has our story, our journey, it was meant for us. There's lessons from
Yeah.
it. And I know we'll have some audience members listening and going, but you didn't have a whatever big thing
Right.
that
Comparing
happened,
it to
right?
something. Right. Right.
Yeah, but your journey is meant for you,
Right.
for your soul to grow and for your soul to experience. And so like you read my books and you read his books and you're like
Yeah.
two different sides of the track. Totally
Right.
like
Right.
quite
How
Right.
quite different.
how we met is like bizarre.
But it was
Oh, I love bizarre meetings. I love
yeah,
that.
but it was meant to
Yeah.
be like
It was meant to be though. But did you
yeah.
always, when you guys met, did you feel the energy?
Yes.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
did
I did
right
too, but we
away.
were at a self-development class,
Right.
7-day self-development class. So it was like hands off, and we had a couple dinners together, like because everybody ate together, and that was it. And it wasn't until the last day that it kind of went poof.
Yeah. And it was, I think, a lot of people out there kind of go, oh, it was just perfect timing. But we did show up to that place
Yeah.
wanting more for ourselves and more growth for
Right.
ourselves. And I think that's
Yeah.
the common ground.
And I learned some of the best advice I have ever been given, and I will pass it on to you because you
Ooh.
talked about love. And I did this hopes, dreams, and goals thing, and the next day we're doing this high rope exercise, and this guy goes, "What's your top hope, dream, and goal?" And I'm like, "I decided I want a partner in my life." And he
Oh,
goes to me, "Well, what are you going to say to her when you wake up?" And I said, "Well, I'll roll over and say, 'Hey, babe, I love you.'" And he goes, "Why don't you one up it?" And in my brain, I'm thinking like, "How
like
can you
man.
one up that?"
Right.
And he goes,
Yeah.
"Why don't you roll over and go, 'Hey, babe, how can I love you today?'" And let her
I
teach me
love that.
how
I
she
love
wants to
that.
teach. Like, because all my life it's like I know what you need. Well, do I really know what you need? I
I
think
love
I know what
that.
you need.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And
I really
understanding
like
that
that.
many people see that sort of finished final, oh, they do that so well. But when we first started doing this questioning back and forth, literally the night before, I'm like, what am I going to tell him? What am I going to tell him? I don't know. And there's mornings where whatever mornings where he'll ask me, and I'm going, I don't know.
And then
Right. I
and
don't
after
know
a few
today.
months
Took time.
of doing that, it was like, you know what? I need to check in.
Yeah.
Did I
Yeah.
fulfill my commitment today?
Yeah.
You know, today we don't always do it, and there's days where we just go at night, did I fulfill my commitment to you today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So having that real communication,
Yeah.
comprehension with the communication, right?
When
And
we think we're having
Yeah.
great comprehension and
yeah.
communication.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. And I think to connect with you as well, Shalina, is that we came together with this understanding of him and I and learning how to communicate. And then as I was writing my second book, it was like, oh my goodness, I need to ask myself, how can I love you today? Like look in the mirror.
Yeah,
Say, how can I
I
love
love
you?
that. I love that. I hope you guys don't mind I'm stealing this.
No,
No.
go ahead. That's why I
I
told
think
you
that's
because it's
so beautiful because I think people assume that they know what the other person wants or
ex
needs.
exactly.
And that was just such a beautiful way of looking at it differently. And
Yeah.
just, you're right though. You should ask, like, how can I love you? Because I'm assuming me just being me is like figuring it out a lot. It's enough. And I
Yeah.
think what I'm doing, I'm always so loving and nurturing, but maybe they need something different today.
Yep.
I love that. And I
Yeah. And
asked you if you felt it about Scott because my boyfriend and we've known each other for over 10 years, same circle of friends. And anytime I would bump into him over all those years, I felt a very strong need to want to be next to him.
mm,
And I didn't know why at that time because I was younger. And then even like as I got older, and then whenever I did bump into him, it's like got stronger, the pull got stronger and stronger. Like I had children, I was married, but if I ever bump into him, it was always like this strong, like almost like I almost thought that he could sense the same thing and I would be scared to look at him. And
Yeah.
he's like, I didn't know. At one time I thought something was there, but then they told me she's nice to everyone. No, it's not like that. And then we're together, we ended up being together. And it's like crazy how telepathically connected we are.
yeah.
It's insane. And I'm just like, we must have known each other before or something because this is crazy.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And being able to have that respectful place of communication, right? And
Right.
discuss things. And when you notice things, like I had previous marriage, and got into habits after 26 years of just
Right.
doing it all myself, right?
Oh,
Whatever
yeah.
that was. And when we first met, and it was like, Lisa, I was going to work, I was going teaching, and Scott was home, and he's like, Lisa, I'll make you coffee and breakfast. And I'm like, no, I can get it.
Oh, she
Yeah.
taught me like
And-
crazy.
because it was
Oh, you're so used
habits.
to being like that already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You're
to
very
actually,
self-sufficient.
yeah, to actually have that discussion and to allow someone to do
Uh,
something for me,
yes.
such a new place.
Yeah. It's unfamiliar territory for you. That's what my
Yeah.
boyfriend calls it.
Yeah, so to be in a place of respect, right, where you can have that discussion
Yeah.
and talk and start a new routine, a new habit, and get used to saying thank you. Like this morning, I had a coffee taken in for me as I was getting out of the shower. And
Aw.
yeah,
But
I
you know
love
what?
that.
It's little things like that.
yeah,
It's so easy for you too,
It's
I'm sure.
simple, it's easy, and it shows how much you
You're
mean.
making her feel seen.
Yeah.
My
yeah,
boyfriend warms up my robe before I get out of the shower, so I'm not cold because I'm always cold. So he warms up my robe for me. But I'm
beautiful.
just like, I'm gonna keep you around.
Yep, exactly.
Like this morning when I was making the coffee, because my friends were over, it was my third, we have an espresso machine, so it was my third coffee in a row, and I'm thinking, I don't really want to make this coffee. Like I didn't have a desire to make her a coffee at all. However, I know how much if if I was in the shower in the morning, I came out and there's a coffee on the counter, it would be like, yay.
Right. It's the
Yeah,
little, and that's what I had a conversation with a coworker, and she said to me, "Not everybody wants to feel seen, Miss Bell." And I said, I don't believe. No, she didn't say seen. Everyone doesn't need to be like. Everyone doesn't want to be like. I said, well, I don't mean it in the way that you need to have a grand gesture. You
yeah,
don't need grand gestures.
yeah,
But I
Yeah,
think everyone wants to feel thought of.
100%.
And I think she got silent because she realized maybe she worded it wrong. But I'm like, everyone wants to feel that.
Yeah.
Whether it's just making someone a coffee because you know what that means to that person, you're going to do it. And it's the smallest little thing. If I remember you love a certain color and your birthday comes, I guarantee you I'm going to get you something in that color that you said was your favorite because I know how much that means to people. So if I can do that in any way, shape, or form, whether it's sharing my personal life or talking on shows or just expressing myself where people can feel the energy and see that it's a genuine wanting need to help, then I'll do that. So I love that you do that, Scott. That's pretty
Mhm.
cool.
Well, and the flip side though, what's really cool is it fills my cup.
Yeah.
You get more than what you give. And
Yeah.
it's taken quite a few years to catch up, but it's starting to catch up. And the cool part is it snowballs.
Yeah.
Like when your
It
life's
does.
going down the tubes, how it
Have
snowballs if
snowballs.
you, but it's the manifestation. You can manifest going down or you can manifest going up
Mm,
or improving your life.
I like that.
Yeah, and like you had said, everyone wants to be seen. One of the connections I have to that I've realized over the last year or two is I believe everyone wants to be heard. And I
Hmm.
think that's the big one. And because we took some coaching courses, crisis and recovery coaching, and we are certified for that. And it's the understanding that all of us want to be heard, however, not to solve anyone.
Right.
That's the big learning lesson in that. And as I always say to my students, there's a reason why you have two of these that do not close and one of these that does.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we
Exactly.
do. We want to be heard because we know keeping it in often is not beneficial, especially if it's those challenges and those things that are
Right.
bringing you down.
Right.
And on the same breath, on the other end of that spectrum, letting out the positive positively affects and influences other people too. So being
Yeah.
heard is a big thing for me.
Yeah, I love that. And that's true. And it's the no judgment zone, because a lot of people fear being judged. So they keep more things to themselves just to avoid that from happening. So
Ex
it's there's a lot less of us people that actually listen and hear what people are saying without judging them. That's the
exactly.
10%, I guess. Again, Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not everyone's ready, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And kind of have learned that word yet. It's so
Yeah.
nice to say yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was around recovery for 30 some odd years before I actually found something that worked for me. I was
Wow.
miserable and grumpy, and it's like I treated the poor teller that makes almost no money gruff
Yeah.
and rudely. And, and I remember part of my change in the beginning was just even simple please and thank you and ask them how their day is
Right.
and how much of a difference that makes even in their lives because you can see you go in and especially in big cities the person working at Starbucks is stressed right out because they're how you doing today and it
Right.
changes their whole persona.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Yeah, how you show up and
Yeah.
then you reflect their goodness when you show up with the goodness. Yeah,
That's one of my nicknames. People call me an energy changer
Ha.
because I can go into places or just at work and it'll be someone who's, let's say they're in a negative energy or not having that good vibration. And I can pick up on it. So I automatically just know how to change it to where they're actually in a better, I guess, frequency, you could say.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
love to do that because I could see, like, if you go to Starbucks and you see the workers not, I'll give them a compliment or something that completely shifts whatever's going on with them. Because you can see that. It's like in a way, I feel bad when I see people that because you don't know what anyone's going through when
No.
you come across them. You really have no idea what's going on in someone's life. That's why I always stress be kind to everyone because you never know what anyone's dealing with.
Yeah.
We all need that. Even if like that one conversation, I go places and I have strangers come up to me out of nowhere and start telling me their life story. And my kids will be with me in the store and they're just so used to it that they don't even say anything to me. This woman tells me her marital status, the children, everything. And then she's like, thank you for listening.
We just went to London on the way home from Thailand and we're sitting in Bath in this little courtyard. And we ended up sitting on the same bench as this guy that was from Bath. And all of a sudden we're talking recovery with him. What's the odds of that? Like, and he works in
Right.
a transition
Housing
housing of
association.
some sort. Like, so he deals with people in recovery all the time.
Right.
And it's like, what's the odds of
Like,
that?
what are the odds of that, right? There's
And it
no
was a great
coincidences either,
conversation.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're influencing and positively impacting your children by showing the having conversations with strangers is a helpful thing and it's
Right.
a good thing. So I think that's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And I know that's part of the reason we're connected and the person who connected you and us
Yeah.
together, like all this sort of growing wave of positive energy and influence in the world. So we're very excited, Shalina, that we had you on our podcast today. And we want to let our audience know how they can get a hold of you or how they can get your products. So can you share a little bit about that?
Sure, sure. First
Yeah.
of all, thank you guys for having
Yes.
me and taking this time
Doing
today.
great.
I appreciate you guys. And you can find me and follow me on Instagram, and it's Shalina B underscore. And all of my digital products are available on my Etsy shop at the Daily Rituals Co. And you can actually find my memoir and self-help book on Amazon.com. And it's Don't Worry, Inner Child. We got this. Thank
Love
you guys so much.
Thank you, Shalina. And of course, if you're interested in learning more about Scott and I, you will find us on Soulmates and Suitcases on our podcast, both on YouTube and Spotify. As well, we have our website, Forward Walking Choices. If you would like to be a guest, you can come on to that website and you can connect with us there. Thank you again, Shalina.
Thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks.
Super.
Bye.
As every day goes by, I feel so lucky that I get to call you mine. No matter what comes our way, I can always say, I know we'll win the fight. Baby, it's you and me. Here's to the rest of our life.